The seasons are changing, so perhaps is the American political climate. The summer of Trump could be on the wane after the candidate takes unvetted questions and puts himself right back in the birther crosshairs. President Obama is seeking to remove himself from being a target on yet another failed policy in the Middle East, now pointing fingers at Republicans for his terrible and expensive call on training Syrian rebels. Dr. Ben Carson had a chance to put his medical skills to work in the debate and missed badly. And we're once again embroiled in the debate about vaccinations that has been settled over and over and over again. Our Friday foray into the gym of jokes and japes with the political punching bag. Gee, I wonder who the main focus is going to be here, right? Focus on another week where we prove how easy it is to outfox the competition. I'm Ed Berliner. This is The Hardline for Friday, September 18th, 2015.
Okay, this man, I like this guy.
From White Plains. Amen. Okay. We have a problem in this country. It's called Muslims. We know our current president is one. Right. You know he's not even an American.
We need this
birth
question.
certificate, man. But anyway.
Well, we have no corroboration whatsoever. We can guess that when Donald Trump opens his mouth, there have to be advisors behind the scenes wearing flak jackets, knowing full well he's about to create another mess they're going to have to clean up. This time, the Republican POTUS candidate doesn't just dip his toe, he jumps back head first into the muck and mire that is Obama birtherism. One of several issues we will discourse in the next few minutes because we've got to begin with the political animal. Welcome back, Professor at Georgetown University and Republican strategist Bradley Blakeman up against the Democratic media strategist at Cate Communications, Franco Ripple. Gentlemen, I want to thank you both for being here, and let's get right into it. And Brad, I'm going to have to begin with you. Look, let's be honest and be really blunt here. Donald Trump blew it. He's right back in the whole birther crosshairs again. This was foolish. This was something that I know that people wish he hadn't said. But why didn't he just say, stop, you're wrong, let's get back onto issues?
Because, quite frankly, Donald Trump may build a great building, but he's built an awful campaign. It's not a campaign at all. It's a one-man show. And we've seen that by the fact that he's so ill-prepared at the debates, and he's so ill-prepared to take on a crazy wacko supporter who went way beyond the pale of decency. And as a leader, he had the obligation, just like John McCain did. It's almost a similar circumstance when he had a crazy confront him.
Wait, hang on one sec. I'm going to stop you there, and the reason why is I want everybody to hear this, because what you're talking about right here is when John McCain was faced with somebody who came up and talked to him about the heritage of Barack Obama at the time. Here's how John McCain handled it.
I can't trust Obama. I have read about him, and he's an Arab. He is not. No?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. He's a decent family man, citizen that I just happen to have disagreements with on fundamental issues, and that's what this campaign is all about.
All right, let's get this, and I'm going to tell you something. Franco, hang on a sec, because I'm going to get to you on this, but one more shot with Bradley here. Brad, that was a class act by John McCain at the moment, and let's be blunt. A lot of people are coming out of the woodwork today saying Donald Trump shows absolutely no class, not toward his competition, not towards the president, not towards anything in this country. We may have just seen the beginning of the end, yes?
Yes, it's all about decency and common sense, something that I think is lacking with Donald Trump.
So, Franco, from the Democratic side of things, I know that you're chomping at the bit at this and you're going, this is just more meat here because here we go, we're right back to birtherism again. We're back to being an anti-vaxxer again, all this. But let's look at it this way. Franco, this could be the moment where America starts to see what Donald Trump is made of, and even his sycophants may start to stop following him, and it could open it up for real politicians and people who could be a problem for the Democrats in November.
Well, Ed, I am going to take a second to say it. I told you so. I have said it time and again on this program, on this network, and others. Donald Trump is not for real. Not only that, he is undisciplined. And yes, in one fell swoop, he allowed himself and any goodwill, any shred of it, which wasn't much to begin with, that he may have built up in this campaign to go by the wayside, yes, with comments. All he had to do was what John McCain said, which was, no, the president is a good man. He's an honorable man. I disagree with him about nearly everything. But He is not an Arab, so to speak. He's not a Muslim. He's not a terrorist. He's none of those things. I just disagree with him. He took the low road, as he's wont to do, and yes, this very well may be the beginning of the end. The question is, how will the Republican primary electorate result to it? And I have no faith in that body whatsoever.
Well, will you at least admit that if indeed Donald Trump disappears, then you're going to have, I just want to say, more cogent politicians, if you will, people who may be better suited to run the nation, people like Rubio, Christie, Fiorina, somebody like that, and they will pose, in your opinion, let's see if you agree with this or not, a much greater challenge to Hillary Clinton than a Donald Trump could in an overall general election.
But Ed, here's the challenge, though. None of those candidates that you mentioned, and I quite like the style, if not the substance, of both Carly Fiorina and Ben Carson. None of them are selling what Donald Trump sells. Donald Trump is a snake oil salesman. He's an old school huckster. He's the P.T. Barnum of this presidential election.
But if we agree that that's going away, though, then we're going to start getting down to issues here which the American people will spend more time with, and that might be tough on the Democrats. Now, you've had a moment here. Let me turn to Bradley here because I want to get his side on this. Brad, would you say that that's the bigger possibility here, that now you'll get down to some real meat, and we are going to get past all the fluff and all the guff and start getting down to some real meat here for a change?
That's not the possibility. That's the reality. That's exactly what's going to happen. And as we see in these early primary and caucus states, that's exactly what's happened in the past. Look at the folks who have been passed by in Iowa. People like Santorum and others who have not risen to the occasion of getting the nomination. This is the process of culling. And I happen to think it's a very healthy process, unlike my Democratic friend who believes in coronation, and where the elites are just going to tell us, if you're a Democrat, who the nominee is going to be. It's not worked out very well. You talk about a con artist. The Clintons are famous for conning the American people and lying and twisting and parsing. We're not done with Hillary yet. When I say we as an electorate, we as a nation, and the FBI has yet to be heard on the investigation. So she's in a world of hurt. So don't be casting stones at the Republicans when the house of cards you built is about to fall.
30-second response to you, Franco.
Oh, boy. Brad, I'm not even going to reply to that because, again, there is no criminal investigation whatsoever.
There is.
Hillary Clinton will be the next president of the United States. Here's the problem that I had. We're talking about if Donald Trump is not a factor anymore, will the Republican meaty candidates, the candidates who are meaty on the issues, will they get their chance? No, because the American people are with Democrats on their issues. Look at the polling on everything from wages to jobs to a middle-class economy built from the middle out, not the top down, making college affordable, the environment. The American people are with the Democrats on all
we're
this.
going to go back and forth on numbers altogether because, let's face it, we can look at all different polls, Franco, and we can show that numbers are going with the Republicans as well. Let's be honest. Come on, there's a lot of polls out there, so I know where you're speaking from. I only got 2 minutes left. I got to hit something else. Franco, I need an answer from you on this. The president's idea, the president's order to train a Syrian opposition army, 4 or 5 people who are actually there fighting, and now the president comes out and says, oh, wait, it's not my fault. Wait a minute, it's a Republican's fault. You forced me to do this. You're the ones that told me to do this. Franco, come on. He's trying to blame somebody else for an absolute ridiculous mistake that he has made. Even you've got to agree with this, that he can't be sitting there wagging his fingers at the Republicans on this one.
Absolutely not. I give the president credit for acknowledging. No, it's true. Look, this is not a partisan line. I give the president credit for acknowledging when something doesn't work. And you know what? If we're talking about honesty, this was not the president's idea.
But he says it was the Republicans' fault and Hillary Clinton's fault. He's the president. The buck stops at his desk, Franco.
It was not necessarily just the Republicans' idea. This was the brainchild of David Petraeus, a Republican, and Leon Panetta, a Democrat as well. This was not the president's idea. And you know what? President Bush's own Afghanistan and Iraq ambassador, Ryan Crocker, said that the president was right all along to think that this plan wouldn't work. And I think he's right about that.
But if he didn't want it, see, here we go. If it's not going to work, then don't sign it in, and then don't go blaming somebody else. All right, you have
to do something.
Yeah, but he's blaming somebody else for it. Brad, go ahead. I have to give you a shot on this. I got 60 seconds left.
He's the incompetent in chief. Where has he been? He has been the leader of the military, leader of foreign policy for the past 6+ years. The buck stops with him. Remember that famous line in the sand? Well, he let that go, and he invited the chaos that has not only inflicted Syria, but has engulfed the entire Middle East. And with the help of our allies in Europe, they've created a humanitarian crisis beyond those borders that is now inflicted on Europe with these refugees who are pouring in by the hundreds of thousands. This is the incompetent policy of a president who just wants to skate by and give the problems to the next person. He's already checked out. He's the lamest of ducks.
All right, 10 seconds, Frank. 10 seconds, Franco.
This is a crisis that does not have an American solution. It takes a global solution. And furthermore, we are having success with Kurdish fighters.
However, we're not having any success here because he's the one who put his signature on it and decided to put it into order here, and he's now blaming Republicans. Come on. Franco, I'm going to get you to go. The buck stops here one of these days. Franco Ripple, Bradley Blakeman, always a pleasure to have you guys on the show. Thanks so much for being here. Let's get to you once again. It's your last chance to get in on the poll. You've seen the debate. You've heard people talk about it. Who won the CNN GOP debate? Tell us one last shot, and let's put these numbers to bed. Newsmaxpolls.com, and of course, we'll be talking about it all next week. Stay with us. The fastest 60 minutes of news, The Hard Line, continues.